If you're going to threaten a man on his own land, you'd better check whose name's on the deed, especially if that deed's older than your shiny new bylaws. You might want to back up and try a different plan. My name's Levi Dalton, and I've been working this same patch of stubborn Texas dirt longer than some of my neighbors have been alive, let alone paying a mortgage. 3 generations of Dalton men have run cattle here, set fence posts by hand, and coughed up property taxes back when most of this county was just wild prairie and bad roads. We're not here running some hobby farm for Instagram. We're working a 470-acre ranch beef hay and a whole lot of Texas grit. So when a group of fresh-faced suburbanites rolled up with an eviction notice from an HOA that didn't even exist 5 years ago, I didn't just laugh. I dug in. By the end, not only was I still standing on the land my granddad built with his own calloused hands, but their precious HOA was cutting me a $600 check every month for the privilege of using my own land. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up a sec. Every morning starts the same for me. Boots on the ground by 5:30, black coffee and a battered thermos, my dog Rufus already chasing whatever critter's dumb enough to hang around the barn. The air's thick with mesquite diesel, and that sour tang of cattle feeds some folks wrinkle their nose at it. But to me, that's the smell of home. My granddad, Otis Dalton, bought this land in 1947. No loans, no partners, just savings from welding oil rigs after the war. Started with 60 acres and a tractor you had to sweet-talk into starting. By the time my dad took over, we'd cleared and fenced enough ground to grow it into nearly 500 acres. I grew up between barbed wire and branding irons, missed more summer vacations than I care to count, but I learned how to work before I could drive. When Dad passed, the ranch came to me not through some courtroom mess, just a folded envelope in his desk drawer that said, "Take care of it, son." Now I run close to 300 head, 2 hay fields, and a calving barn that's seen more life than some hospitals in Dallas. We've raised 4-H kids, donated beef to food banks, paid our taxes without fail for 30 years. This land, it's not just an address, it's my whole identity. And for most of my life, nobody argued with that until a developer from Austin bought up a wild patch half a mile east and bulldozed it flat for a place called Willow Ridge Estates. 56 beige boxes with matching shutters, postage stamp lawns, and HOAs stricter than Sunday school. Every mailbox, every garage door, all the same city folks looking for the country experience without the mud or the mess. At first, I paid them no mind. Live where you want. Just respect your neighbors, you know. But trouble started brewing the day they posted up their shiny new HOA rules. Quiet hours. Nuisance activity reportable to your block captain. Nuisance in their world was the sound of my tractor at dawn, the scent of manure, a calf bellowing in the night. They hadn't moved to the country. They'd just brought the city with them. The day it all changed. Their HOA president, Melanie Craig, showed up in my driveway, a woman who looked like she was about to star in a Hallmark movie about real estate, navy slacks, pastel blouse, faux leather clipboard. Behind her, a silver SUV idled engine running like she expected this to be a drive-by scolding. She minced across my gravel, called out, "Levi Dalton Wright, president of Dalton Ranch, LLC. I nodded, half amused, half annoyed. "That's me. And you are." She smiled, like it hurt, and introduced herself, then launched into her spiel. "We've had concerns. Noise, diesel fumes, uncontained animal waste near the shared property line." Uncontained. I laughed. "Lady, these are cows, not poodles." She kept that kindergarten teacher voice. "Our community is very family-oriented, Mr. Dalton. There are concerns about children being exposed to unregulated agricultural activity." I just stared at her. "Ma'am, we've been here since '47. You moved next to a ranch. We didn't move into your cul-de-sac." She took notes like she was grading me for attitude. Then she hit me with, "Our HOA board may petition the county to review your operation for code violations." That's when I realized she wasn't just playing at being in charge, she meant it. A few days later, I got a letter from a Dallas law office full of citations, environmental code, disputed zone of use. They actually said I could be removed from my own land. Suddenly, strange cars started idling outside my gate, some with cameras. One even flew a drone over my hayfield. Neighbors I'd known for years stopped waving. The Thompsons put up a fence facing me. It was clear Melanie wasn't just filing complaints. She was recruiting an army. And for the first time since my dad died, I felt like I was standing on shaky ground. But that didn't last. See, the universe has a way of tossing you a bone if you're willing to dig for it, and for me that meant digging through old paperwork. In a beat-up file cabinet in the tack room, I found a 1972 survey and a pile of correspondence letters maps. And this is the kicker, an easement agreement from 1994. Long story short, the county had permission to build infrastructure across a chunk of my land, but only if it never interfered with agricultural operations. Any violation, the land reverted to me. And wouldn't you know it, Willow Ridge had paved their main parking lot and the clubhouse driveway smack dab on that patch. Legally, they were trespassing. While I'm letting that sink in, my cousin texts, "Go look at the Willow Ridge FB group. They're dragging you." Sure enough, there are posts about public health hazards, close-up photos of my rusted cattle troughs, complaints about toxic smells. The same neighbors I'd pulled out of ditches last winter, not a word in my defense. That's when it hit me this wasn't some neighborly spat. This was a war, and I was done playing defense. I called Jack Renard, a surveyor who doesn't miss a detail. Guy once shut down a screaming match over 2 feet of fence with a single GPS reading. He comes out, paces the line, checks the documents, frowns, and then grins. "Levi, you got 'em dead to rights. They're deep onto your land." He stakes the true boundary orange tips right through the middle of their parking lot. "You willing to back this up in court?" Jack asks. "Hell yes." He signs and certifies the survey. I gather every piece of proof: survey, easement, county records, Google Earth satellite photos. Now I've got an arsenal. Next step, I go to Darla Franklin, a local attorney who's won more land disputes than most people have lost arguments at the DMV. She takes one look and laughs. "You can revoke their access and charge rent effective tomorrow. That's not revenge. Levi, that's management." So that's what I did. 47 certified letters, 1 to each household. You're using Dalton Ranch property. Easement is void. Starting next month, access is $600 per household. By sunset, Melanie was blowing up my phone subject line, screaming, "Parking ransom." I ignored them all. When Melanie finally shows up, she's lost the clipboard and the attitude. She's nearly in tears, waving a letter from her new lawyer, accusing me of extortion. I tell her straight, "You pay a guy $500 an hour to write this nonsense. Tell him to look up Texas property rights and then call me." I walk away. The HOA scrambles, calls an emergency meeting at their community center, which, let's not forget, is still sitting on my land. I show up folder in hand and lay it all out: certified survey, county records, the original agreement. Y'all got 2 choices. Sign an access agreement at a neighborly $500 a month, or see me in court and pay more. There's panic accusations, threats, but they know they're cooked. That's when Carol Weaver, the tired-looking secretary, pulls me aside and admits Melanie never told the board about the easement. Next day, over 30 households sign the agreement. $15,500 a month, more than enough to fix the fences, buy new tractor tires, even put solar on the south pasture. Melanie tries one last Hail Mary, but it's over. And here's where it gets good. Carol files a complaint with the Attorney General, accuses Melanie of misusing HOA funds, attaches proof Venmo receipts, lawyer invoices, minutes where she hid expenses. The AG opens a financial investigation. Melanie's gone from the Facebook group overnight, her smiling photo pulled off the HOA website. Carol's the new president. The rest of the board does what they should have done all along: treat their ranching neighbor like a person. We sit down, real conversation, mugs of coffee, no lawyers. We hammer out a new deal: $130 a month per household, money split for ranch upkeep and neighborhood improvements, annual review. They even ask me to host a ranch day for their kids. For the first time, the fence feels like a fence again, not a war zone. Before I wrap up, I had a sign made for the gravel road private property. Access by agreement only. Trespassers will be invoiced. Yes, we're serious. People laugh, but nobody crosses that line. 3 months later, Willow Ridge and my ranch look different. The bickering, the lawsuits, the midnight letters are gone. In their place, respect. That money helps everyone repaired trails, better fences, solar lights. People start talking again. Kids who used to cry about cows now want to help with chores. The guy who called me a menace now buys brisket from me. Carol stops by with blueberry muffins. The first ranch day is a hit. Hay rides, potluck, Q-Planet A about real ranch work, even some brisket. Over 100 people come out. For the first time, I look around and see neighbors, not enemies. One of the kids asks if bulls have favorite songs. Another says he wants to be a rancher when he grows up. I'll admit that one hit me. 6 months later, the HOA's running clean, transparent meetings, actual budgets, no more fear-mongering. Their kids tour the ranch, I hand out junior rancher certificates, and selling beef direct to the neighborhood turns out to be the best marketing I ever had. And Melanie. Last I heard, she's renting a Dallas condo with no HOA privileges and 2 lawsuits pending. The woman who tried to evict me now pays rent herself. Funny how that works. If this story taught me anything, it's this. You don't win with fists or Facebook. You win with facts, history, and a map your granddad tucked away just in case someone got bold with a clipboard. When they threaten your land, you show them the deed you charge, rent you stand your ground. This dirt remembers who it belongs to. So, if you're ever in my shoes, someone trying to push you off your own history, look them square in the eye. Don't yell, just raise your property line. The minute you quit defending what's yours, they're not just taking your land, they're taking your story. And around here we defend stories like family. Now I want to hear your take. Was I right to charge them? Where do you draw the line between being neighborly and defending your ground? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about where you'd stand if the dirt under your boots was on the line.